closed, suck in. Contact.
Contact.
I suppose
Oh, not again.
there's no alternative.
No.
All for one and one for all, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Try to look a bit more cheerful about it.
Back as soon as we can. Come on, lads. Please God, they don't run into too much trouble.
Essential count to 10 before you start hovering.
Make it nice and slow. Remember, 10.
They left a receipt for everything they took.
Decent of them.
It's complete to the last tin of plum jam. There's a major...
How's the sentry?
More umbrage than damage.
Well, I'm both. Come in!
Ah, Captain Triggers?
Yes?
Ted Anson.
About the rations.
I gather you've had a spot of bother.
That's putting it mildly. Look after that. I've had a week's ration from my flight stolen by scavengers who've
not
been
like
identified
that.
as
Cancel the
belonging to
call,
that battalion that's been brought to Hess down in the village. It was an armed attack. They overpowered and threatened the sentry. Now, I dread to think what might have happened if they'd met with any resistance.
Well, no.
I don't want you to agree with me. I want the army to do something about it. My men are being slaughtered in obsolete machinery. Now we're being attacked by our own men.
Sergeant, I wonder if you'd mind...
Yes, go, Mills.
Yes, sir.
The fact is, Triggers, a section of the battalion has run amok. I'm looking into it for a brigade. It seems they had a pretty thin time of it during the last spell of the line.
Well, the poor things. It'd be a fine situation if everybody who got a hammering in the line ran amok.
Oh, absolutely. But on the other hand, one doesn't want to publicise this sort of thing.
For fear it spreads.
Yes, that. And also the fact that, well, once it becomes public property, everyone takes fixed positions.
I wouldn't have thought in this particular instance there was much room for manoeuvre.
No, no, indeed. But since the Colonel seems confident that he can bring these men to heel, I would ask you to contain your wrath until he has done.
That depends how long it takes.
Well, he's mounting a stick and carrot operation at this very moment.
Oh, a highly intelligent idea. Well, in that case, I'll wait.
I'm obliged.
And when the donkey's eaten the carrot, perhaps you'll be good enough to ask him to return our rations.
A pleasure.
The army going to sort themselves out of this.
That's the theory.
They're coming. Now remember, we're all in this together. Any talking, leave it to me. Don't fire till I say.
There'll be no going back once we do let fly.
There was no going back once we sent that petition.
Somehow that seemed different than...
Well, I warned you. I warned you all at the time. But this was one of the possible consequences.
Yes. Now I realize. That's me. Stealing those rations was our mistake.
We requisitioned them.
Words.
They were our entitlement.
Up until then, it was all just argy-bargy. They couldn't overlook a thing like that.
If we hadn't done it, we'd have starved.
Or shot dead. What's the difference?
We agreed.
All the same. I never came out here not to get shot dead by my own side.
I did exactly what you asked me to do.
All right. Now I'm telling you how I feel about it, aren't I?
They've stopped. They want to talk after all.
Off you go, then.
Well, I'm just your spokesman. You elected me.
It wasn't exactly backward in coming forward.
Well, you tell me what to say.
To hell with it! Look at them. They don't want to fight. All right, let's call their bluff, I say. Our demands are just, aren't they? We took long enough to decide what they should be, didn't we?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's stick to them. Otherwise, we're not just going to look fools. We're going to get wiped out, don't you see?
We all agreed.
Agreed.
For a penny and for a pound.
There's people like you that spoil the case for democracy.
Don't worry. I'll keep you covered.
You surprise me.
Sir,
The salute. I imagined you'd forsworn all the decencies.
we are loyal soldiers of the King,
Loyal.
and we mean you no personal discourtesy.
When you've appealed to the Brigadier over my head,
You refuse to hear our requests.
I refuse to be told how to run my own battalion.
The men were driven beyond endurance.
On the men. How am I to differentiate between them and you?
I am merely their elected representative.
It's Hawkins, isn't it?
Sir,
You're a schoolmaster, they tell me.
university lecturer.
Same difference. Oh, you're giving the 3 R's a new meaning, aren't you, eh? Reading, writing, and rebellion.
I have done my best to explain.
We humbly and respectfully direct your attention to the following points of interest. The Brigadier promptly referred this farrago nonsense to me. He gave a flea in the air for letting him be bothered. Cigarette?
I don't, thank you.
Oh, what are we to do?
It's not for me to say.
Someone's going to have to stand the racket for stealing those rations.
We took no more than our entitlement.
Mutineers have no
We are
entitlements.
not mutineers. We have legitimate grievances which you have refused to hear.
I know your company's had a bad
You
time.
demoralised before we
I'm
were
not
cut to pieces.
unsympathetic.
After the event,
I'll tell you what. Choose your own scapegoat for the ration business. I can't let him off scot-free, but I'll give him the minimum penalty. The rest of you come back to camp and I'll hear your complaints.
what guarantees can you give us?
None. But no victimization and an open mind. I can't say fairer than that, now can I?
I've shown an open mind to date.
That's a chance you ought to take, isn't it? Either that or get shot now.
I'll have to take advice.
Damn it, man, I'm not prepared to negotiate. Think yourself lucky to be offered alternatives.
And that case, I'm sorry that we were unable to reach an agreement. Sir.
Hurry! Hurry, fire! Fire, damn you! What the hell's the matter with you?
I wouldn't do that, sir.
By God, Hawkins. I'll see you rebel pay for this.
Us a rabble.
He did he? Right. We'll show him. Come on, lads. Let's give him a feu de joie.
Well, so far, so bad, I'm afraid.
Predictably. What's the next move?
Well, that's up to brigade.
Then it could take forever.
Well,
I can't perform the role that's been assigned to me if my men are at risk all the time. Next time it could be arms, ammunition.
no, I think you're taking an extreme view.
It's an extreme situation. If you can't do something about it, and quickly, I'm going to have to take the law into my own hands.
Well, I can do something about it, all right. But, quickly, well, that's another matter. Still, if you, in the interim, do feel able to deal with it yourself, successfully, quietly, well, then I'm sure everyone at brigade would be very relieved.
Mills?
Yes, sir?
Mr. Starling back from patrol yet?
Not yet, sir.
Perhaps it's just as well. Wheel in the others, please.
Yes, sir. Excuse me, gentlemen. Captain Triggers would like to see you in the flight office straight away.
Right. Does he want Mr. Gellin?
Yes, sir.
Charles?
Yes. Mr. Gellin, sir. Captain Triggers would like to see you in the flight office. Oh, right. Thank you, Mills. Shall I take that, please?
Right, thank you.
Charles? Well, we've got a very irritating job, I'm afraid. We can't afford to have a hostile and what amounts to a totally unpredictable force on our doorstep where our brigade wonders what to do about it.
We're taking over the airfield.
Well, exactly. So here's what we're going to do. Tomorrow morning at first light, we're going to take 2 aeroplanes and try and land on their encampment. Now, it's like a bog, but if we succeed, the sheer surprise of it should frighten them out of their idiocy. That's all. Thank you.
Sir.
Excuse me, sir.
What?
What if it doesn't? Well, instead of meekly giving up, what if they make a fight for it?
Then we'll persuade them.
Well, what do you mean persuade?
Fire a Lewis gun over their heads, that's all.
Sir,
Thank you.
that kind of thing could get out of hand.
Well, they've asked for it, haven't they?
Yes, I know that, but it only takes one man
We'll
to
talk
panic.
about
and we
it
have...
later, shall we, Richard? Alan, you've got the next patrol. Do a reconnaissance over that encampment on the way back. There it is.
Well, I'm surprised at you. You didn't say a word in there.
No.
You're taking this all very calmly, aren't you?
Oh, what else?
We did not come out here to play military policeman, did we?
Yes and no, really.
Explain.
Well, in general, no. In fact, losing your nerve is cumulative.
Yes, you should know.
What if I didn't? I might think differently. No, it's just that once you start making exceptions, there's no end to it. You see, this may be down to just one chap like me. Morale happened to be high here when I lost my nerve. If it hadn't, we'll stop this kind of rot before it spreads.
Yes, but shooting at our own men is not...
We're not setting out to do anything of the sort.
No, but it could come to that.
Well, if they start throwing their weight about, there's an outside chance that someone might get hurt, yes.
Now listen, what is all this?
Hello, Michael. Well, I don't know how much you've heard, but we're meant to be flying in tomorrow to try and frighten that bunch of mutineers into submission.
Apparently, some of them kicked over the traces.
Yes, they started by petitioning brigade.
Since when, they've taken the food from our very mouths. In fact, they pinched a week's rations while you were on patrol this morning, Michael.
Then they defied their CO, complete with feu de joie.
Then they must have a case.
Oh, good old Starling.
Show you a style and you'll find a lame dog. Anyway, we're to put the fear of God into them at first light tomorrow.
And suppose they put up a fight.
Just what I've been saying.
Has anyone talked to them?
Apparently somebody's tried, yes.
Who?
Oh, what's the use? Triggers has got his blinkers on.
Tell him not to do anything till he hears from me.
Tell you what, you tell him.
Tell you what, Charles, you tell him.
You'll love that, won't you?
They can't have just gone away.
No. I don't like it.
What do you suppose I'll do next?
Somebody coming! Another officer! By himself this time!
Where the devil are you?
Coming! Coming!
Oh, there you are. I thought I was never going to find you. I lost my compass bearing. I've been blundering about in the dark roads.
Why?
Oh, do I see a fire? Would you mind? I'm also frozen to the marrow.
Who sent you here?
I came of my own accord.
You expect us to believe that?
Why should I lie?
Why did you bother?
The things you're supposed to have done just don't make sense in terms of your reputation.
Idle curiosity.
I just happen to believe I might be able to explain what you're doing to Brigade. If somebody doesn't, they'll be wiped off the face of the earth.
Why should you care?
There must be arguments on your side.
Have you any idea what things are like?
An idea? If I'm to help, I've got to have facts.
Help, is it?
We haven't had too much help from officers.
Well, tell me.
I suppose that's how I got involved.
The rest of us were pretty much punch drunk.
I'm not for fighting either.
Picton had his own men flogged at Waterloo.
That was 100 years ago.
Nothing changes.
Are you telling me that men were flogged?
Not in France, no.
Field punishment #1, though.
Tied to a post in full kit with no food or drink from sun up to sundown.
As regular as clockwork.
Paid stoppages.
Ceremonial drill. Bone your boots, boys.
After 3 weeks in the line.
And how long since anybody here's had leave, eh?
Yes, all right, all right.
All right. We could have lived through all that if we'd been halfway sensibly used.
Right.
And even quarter-way sensibly led.
Yes, well, there may have been factors.
Factors.
I'm as modest as the next man in military matters. They sent us in against machine guns.
No artillery barrage, no support.
They give us officers who'd hardly been baptised.
Anyway, in half an hour they were all dead.
It was a massacre.
We're not going through that again. That's flat.
There's no sense to it.
And afterwards, they simply drilled us into the ground.
That was it. Enough.
And I've done my 12 and 9 with the colours. I tell you, it didn't come easy.
They treat cattle better.
Horses, certainly.
Yes. Yes, but there are channels for complaints.
Ah! Spoken like an officer.
Tried them.
If there was any other way of getting some kind of redress, we wouldn't have risked a firing squad, would we? We went by the manual of military law every step of the way.
Seizing rations. Bearing arms against your own commanding officer.
That was afterwards.
That, weren't we?
Colonel flatly refused to see us, so we appealed to brigade.
Sent him a
Our
copy of the
colonel.
We never even had a
Our
reply.
own colonel never even acknowledged it.
They stopped all rations, privileges, pay. Then we heard they were going to call in the military police.
Arrest the lot of us.
We had to get out there and come here.
Yes, but if you hadn't stolen those rations...
We had to live.
We gave a receipt
Only
for
took
them.
what we were entitled to.
Your colonel came and talked to you,
Aye, after all
On his
that.
own.
Yes.
whereupon you
He did.
threatened him.
He broke a truce and ordered his men to fire on us.
Which they refused to do.
He was just about to shoot me.
That's right, pull his gun
Out
out
there.
there.
Yes, well, you seem to be very much in us together.
Yeah, we are.
That's right. We are.
All for one, and one for all.
If we weren't to be picked off one by one, our only chance was absolute unanimity.
What exactly is it you're trying to say?
Well, we're human beings, aren't we?
Not just cannon fodder. Or if we are, we're no longer prepared to be.
We're the ones who's up in
If
the
nobody
firing
learns,
line.
or even listens to what happens to us, what are we doing here?
That is what we're trying to establish. What we're fighting for, isn't it? The right to ask the reason why.
Anyway. Well, I'd better get back and see what I can do about it.
Oh, not so fast.
We've got to move fast. They're going to bring in aeroplanes to round you up tomorrow?
Now you've seen the place, you might just tell them how to do it.
Oh, good God.
That's a fair point.
We're not afraid of aeroplanes. If you use force, they're liable to use machine guns on you.
And you'd better be here to stop them.
We'd know you were concerned to get us a fair hearing then, wouldn't we?
I should have stopped him from going.
I wish you had.
Seemed a humane try at the time.
Well, now we know what kind of people we're up against, don't we?
I don't want to use the Lewis gun unless I have to, but our main priority now is to get Michael out. If he makes a break for it and anybody tries to stop him, shoot them. Could you pass them on, Ray Charles, please? You're our best shot. Alan, you get a rifle, fly with me. If it comes to a scrap, that could keep the casualties down.
Oh, that's far enough! Don't point that thing! If it's loaded, it makes me nervous. If it isn't, it's merely silly.
It's loaded, all right.
What's going on? Oh! Hey! I just caught him! Shut up! Shut up! Listen! I'm trying to listen! There are aeroplanes. If we aren't ready for them when they come, there really could be a shambles.
What do we do?
Shh!
Here they come.
Now remember, nobody moves until you get the all clear from me.
Hey, look at him run!
You're right, Michael. Why the hell didn't you do what I said?
We thought you were ratting on us.
Where's Captain Triggers?
He's flying a pilot to hospital, sir. There was a bit of a mix-up this morning.
Precisely. Any tea, Sergeant?
Got back in one piece then?
Just darling.
Sound comfortable? He'll live. Brigade, take it calmly. Major, I won't ask you to make yourself comfortable, since I gather the object of the exercise is to make things as uncomfortable as possible for me. That's all, no.
Well, it was always doomed to be a mess. One had hoped to avoid a shambles.
And now you're looking for a scapegoat.
Look, suppose you stop leaping to conclusions and listen to what I've got to say. Look, you must understand, the powers that be are very worried.
You're not one of them.
Oh, good Lord, no. Do I look like one? No, I was a lawyer in my previous incarnation. I was drafted in to look into the legality of the stand taken by the so-called mutineers.
So-called?
Well, the case can never be proven now, you know.
And you're the lawyer?
Yes. Well, my view was that in time of peace they might have been within the law. But now, well, Brigade just want the case closed with a minimum of publicity.
Unfortunately, 12 dead men. Won't just go away. Mr. Galion? Mr. Farmer?
With thousands dying every day.
They weren't shot by their own men.
You see, quite how we handle this really does depend on exactly what happened.
Yes, I see. Come in. You met, I take it?
Oh, yes, a brigade. Wasn't there another witness?
I observed.
He's on his way back, is he?
Yes, he is. I had to ditch someone, and as he saw practically nothing at all, I thought it wiser to bring Farmer.
Yes. Well, let's see how we get on without him anyway, shall we?
Well, Mr. Galion and I were flying here, and...
Can you show me?
The table's the encampment. Me here, Mr. Galion here. We came in, and the place seemed almost deserted. It seemed totally deserted, except for Mr. Starling. It's here. I landed.
I overshot. I had to go around again.
I saw a man running after Mr. Starling. Someone shot him.
Some of the mutineers opened fire. I fired a short burst. They came on, and I fired.
I thought you'd been massacred.
Who fired the first shot?
I
They
did.
were firing by the time I came around for the second time. I didn't know.
They did.
See, that first shot's the key to the whole situation.
Well, Mr. Starling will know, won't he?
Yes, indeed, we'll ask him.
No, not en masse. Look, you say that the firing was well underway when you came into land.
Yes.
Well, that lets you off the hook, Charles.
Look here, I'm dashed if I want to go tramping around the hospital asking a lot of questions until I know the form.
Well, it looks like you and I are going to visit the sick, Alan.
I thought it was on account of my scintillating conversation.
I'm afraid not.
Well, Alan, you fired the first shot. There's no doubt about it, I'm afraid.
You mean maybe if I hadn't...
Look, it's idle speculation. If they'd allow you back to report, the whole situation might have been avoided.
If they felt able to trust an officer, the situation would never have arisen. It's the truth.
Yes, maybe. We've been here before, though, haven't we?
In a way.
Well, I better deal with Major Anson.
I'm ready for tea.
No, thank you.
Hello, Lorna.
Alan.
Captain Triggers, this is Lorna Collins.
How do you do?
And Michael
Oh,
Starling.
we know each other intimately, if not well.
Sorry?
Miss Collins is my nurse.
Oh, nurse, yes, of course. Oh, how are you?
Fine, thanks. How have you been keeping?
Oh, me, very well.
Well, anyone for tea?
No, I better be going back. You make your own way back if you like.
No, thank you, sir.
Oh, all right. Get well soon, Miss Collins.
I'll do my best.
Triggers.
Yes, what do I have to say? Well,
Goodbye, Alan.
goodbye.
Lorna Collins, the name rings a bell. She's your fiancée, isn't she?
Yes, she was.
She was.
Was?
Oh, fine.
Well, managed to get things straight now?
More or less. More or less.
Seems I started it.
Anyone could have done, Alan, when you look at the thing in context.
Rotten business for you, all the same.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Saw Lorna up at the hospital.
What did she have to say for herself?
Could hardly give me the time of day.
Well, what do you expect her to do? Fall at your feet? I mean, she did actually write to us telling us where she was, and you didn't even bother to reply.
That letter was to you.
To us.
So he keeps saying. Anyway, she'd be more pleased to see you than me.
Rubbish.
Think about it anyway.
I will. Decent of you to mention it.
Wells, send a dispatch rider around with this to Major Anson. Right away. And if anybody needs me, I'll be having a sleep in my room.
I was wondering when you'd turn up.
It's a St. Bernard of me. Well.
Thank you.
Yes, you don't look at all bad. Oh. Well, this is, quite, jolly. Still got them, Beth.
Oh, Charles, don't dissemble. Lorna's told me almost all.
Well, no, I'm embarrassed.
She's getting ready to change my dressing. Turn, left. It's on the right.
Well,
Oh, go on.
well, I'll just pop along and see her then.
Any man who can woo a woman in the sluice deserves to win her, I say.
Michael, that is quite enough. Can I come in, or will I see things that will alarm me?
Charles,
Well, you know what a coward I am.
I'm only rolling bandages.
Ah, in that case, I think even I might steel myself for this. My word, you don't have to go lickety spit.
It's a knack.
Clever, though.
Practice.
Middle always falls out when I tried.
Yes, it would.
Well, how are you finding things here?
Interesting.
Pretty hard work, I should imagine.
Yes, very.
How's your mother?
She's very well, thank you.
Good, good. Well, do remember me to her when next you write.
Yes, I will. Oh, nurse. Thank you. It's right, I'll take those.
Well, this is, certainly a far cry from Beckett's Hill, isn't it?
Yes.
Tea and Caxton and so forth.
Charles, why did you come here?
Well, to thank you for your letter and to explain why I didn't reply. You see, I assumed that you wanted me to show it to Alan and that he would. It is good to see you again. As a matter of fact, he's been jolly decent about it, really.
Who has?
Alan.
What about?
Well, I mean,
Oh, you got his permission to come here today, did you?
not in so many words, no.
Why not?
Now, don't go off the deep end with me. I mean, we don't want him to think bad of us,
I don't
do
want
we?
to know what you think, what anybody thinks of us. Well, I know what I mean.
Well, I wish I did.
You're supposed to be a leader.
Well, of men, yes.
Educated and everything.
What's that got to do with anything?
I'm only the farmer's daughter.
The merry milkmaid. Mm-hmm.
Alan.
Hmm?
Don't worry, you told me that's what you called me.
Oh, that was before I knew, to be fair.
Oh, who's being fair? When Alan was shot down and you came round to commiserate, we became fond of each other. Then when Alan came home, you decided that he was right for me.
Well, I just wanted to make things easier for you.
For whom?
Well, for all of us. I mean, now I think...
Oh, you do you? Well, I'll tell you what I think. I think you're a bit of a humbug.
Steady on.
Why did you come here today, Charles?
Well, he said that you didn't care,
Alan.
so... Yes.
He said, you said... I mean, haven't you got a thought of your own in your head?
Well, I'm here, aren't I?
Yes. Go away. It's time to change your dressing.
Did Charles Galen find you?
Yes, he did, and I suppose he wanted your advice, too.
I only told him where you might be.
Oh, thank you very much.
If this is true love, I'll settle for a substitute.
Turn over.
Don't take it out on me.
I'm sorry.
Well, I've got to tell you, you were wrong.
Was?
In fact, you're a positive liability, a stupid's messenger. Not only did she send me away with a flame here, she spent the entire blessed time talking about you.
I'm amazed.
Sergeant Mills said you wanted to see us, eh?
Not you, Mr. Gillian, just Mr. Farmer, thank you.
Really, this is rather infectious.
Could you shut the door behind you, please?
Sit down if you like.
Oh, no, thank you, sir. I'd rather stand.
As you wish. Well, I'll spare you the preamble. In my view, you precipitated the incident by opening fire.
My orders would have saved Mr. Starling, sir.
Yes, well, in fact, he wasn't under attack.
It's easy to be wise after the event.
The pragmatist reply to that is better late than never.
Sir?
We are trying to close an unhappy event in the least damaging way possible.
Oh, I see. Whitewash.
We have our duty to the living.
To the dead, too?
I hope Command has learned his lesson and that in future all grievances will be heard more promptly and more sympathetically.
Yes, but if nobody knows, they will be.
Well, it'll filter through.
All in good time.
Look, you can't blame them for not wanting to extend an open invitation for every troublemaker and Barrackram lawyer to come
I
forward.
don't want to see that commanding officer get away with it.
Yes, well, he's
however.
already been transferred to other duties, and I don't hold Starling entirely blameless. If you hadn't gone in there, you might all have acted with more detachment.
Whatever Mr. Starling did, it's my responsibility.
Yes, but I'm doing my best to spread responsibility thinly.
As I said, whitewash.
Not always possible, you know, Farmer, for justice to be seen to be done.
What it amounts to is you're being asked to accept a reprimand for excessive zeal.
That way, the matter can be dealt with as a local incident, an accident of war.
And if I refuse?
It'll be a scandal.
And Command will come out of it badly.
No, more to the point, only 12 dead men have come out of it relatively well.
Which could comfort our enemies considerably, and must harm Allied morale.
Well, I'm not going to take on the whole world.
Lieutenant Farmer!
Sir!
Consider yourself reprimanded.
Thank you, sir.
That's all.
Well, I don't think he likes us too much.
Drink!
Still, I'd hate me if I were his age. Your reprimand, Starling.
I'd have reprimanded Starling anyway.
Cheers.
For me?
Welcome. Ah, not today, no.
Nothing is going to keep me from my first bath. Take a seat. I'll tell her you're here.
Thanks.
I do wish Mr. Starling would wait for me.
It's me again.
So I see.
I bought you those.
Yes, they're nice. Oh, not on the bed.
Sorry.
My favourites.
Yes, I remembered you.
That's nice too. Look, I must get on or he'll be back from his bath.
Oh, give you a hand.
Better not let Matron catch you.
Why not?
With a mind like hers.
You'd never have made a joke like that before.
If I had, you wouldn't have understood it.
Well, maybe not. I suppose being out here, you must see things, do things,
Yes.
meet people, I expect too.
Well, it is a hospital. You do see things and meet people.
Men?
It is a military hospital.
Of course.
Alan, what is it you're trying to say?
Is there anybody else?
Else?
You know, somebody else. Somebody new. I mean, I'd understand if there was. I suppose it'd be my fault in a way.
Yes, it would.
Well, is there?
No.
Oh, that's all right then.
Is it?
Oh, yes. I still feel the same way about you, you know.
The same as when?
Well, when we're engaged, of course.
Which time?
If you're going to drag up the past...
Well, it's got to be dealt with, hasn't it? We're not the same people, you and I. We've been through some hoops, remember?
Yes, well, Charles and I have sorted those out now.
Oh, you have,
Yes,
you?
I think so.
Well, you never thought to straighten me out, did you?
No, I'm sorry.
You're sorry. I mean, between the two of you, I didn't know whether I was coming or going.
Listen, you were the one who left, remember?
Yes. That's why I came out here.
Yes, well, I can see that now, can't I?
You turn up and you seem to think that we can pick up wherever we left off. Wherever that was.
Well, we can if we want to.
It's not a question of want. We're different people, you said. The funny thing is, I don't think you've changed that much. I have, though.
Listen, I've said I'm sorry.
You're so pleased with yourself, aren't you? You think I'm talking about you. I'm not. I'm talking about sitting up all night with men who are dying. I'm talking about going out with boys who are about to be killed.
What?
Yes, boys. Like the boy I used to know. No, I didn't fall for any of them. Though it was hard not to, when they were brave and funny. And yes, good-looking some of them were. And all of them were lonely and frightened, and all they wanted was just one thing. And I'll tell you, it would have been easier to give it to them. Sometimes a lot easier. Do you think a person's got nothing better to do with her time than sit about whilst two grown men play pass-a-parcel with her? You have her, old boy. Oh, no, old boy, you have her. I mean, between the two of you, I'll end up on the shelf if I don't end up on the floor. I've had enough. I'm sick of the pair of you.
You don't mean that.
How dare you, of all people, tell me what I mean?
I'll go then.
Yes, good riddance to you. Take your clutter with you.
Sent the other one packing, have you? That's the style.
I suppose you think I'm a sea flight mascot too.
My dear girl, I think your life is quite complicated enough without anyone else getting involved. Not you. The field were clear. I don't know what's the matter with me. There are some men who only have to do that for women to descend upon them in droves.
Get along with you.
Oh, how'd it go?
Disaster.
Oh, well, if at first you don't succeed.
First.
Well, don't be so defeatist about it all.
Hang on.
Morning.
Morning.
Who's patrol?
Mr. Galian and Mr. Farr.
Thank you very much. Lovely.
Good God.
Hmm? Well, could change war in the air.
We'll see.
ours or one of theirs?
Ours. B2. There. Trying to see who's flying it.
Why should I care? Well, you've got to admit he's trying. All by himself, too.
There's progress for you.